Now that we've worked a little bit with the problem in finding some values, we're going to try to come up with a piecewise function that can represent the whole scenario to where we can just plug in our X value, which is the number of cupcakes, to determine what the total cost is. We don't have to do it section by section. So I think if we're defining X as the number of cupcakes, so X equals number of cupcakes purchased, I think that we would all agree in this first section where they're costing $2 each, we can just take 2 times the number of cupcakes, 2 times X. So if we're purchasing 5 cupcakes, 2 times 5 is $10, 10 cupcakes, 2 times 10 is $20, etc. And as we showed before, this would be for the domain, 1 cupcake through 100 cupcakes. Similarly, when we have cupcakes costing $1.75 each, we can do the same thing. We can take our $1.75 or our 1.75. We're going to multiply it by the number of cupcakes, except instead of just doing $1.75 times X, we're actually going to have to multiply it by X minus 100. The reason being, we've already purchased 100 cupcakes at this point. So if we're purchasing 150, we only need to charge $1.75 for the last 50 cupcakes. The first 100 out of that batch will have been the $2 each. We've already accounted for that. So in order to calculate the amount of dollars that we're going to spend on cupcakes 101 through 150 in that case, we would have to do X minus 100, which is going to allow us to charge $1.75 for only 50 cupcakes. And then we're also going to have to add on this $200 to account for the $2 we pay for those first 100. So 1.75 times X minus 100, if we're purchasing 150 cupcakes, is going to charge us $1.75 for the last 50, and then we add on the $200 for those first 100 cupcakes. Okay, and we'll come back and simplify that in just a minute. As we showed before, this would be for cupcakes 101 to 250 if we're purchasing that many. And then finally, similar situation down here when our cupcakes are $1.25 each. We're going to do $1.25, 1.25, but instead of X, it's going to be X minus 250 because we've already accounted for other prices for the first 250. So we're going to subtract that out. Anything above 250 cupcakes that we're purchasing, we're going to multiply that by 125 to get the cost. And then down here, we would add the total of $462.50 coming from right here because we would need to account for those first 250 cupcakes, what we would have paid for them, and then add on anything additional above the 250. So like I said, we're going to simplify these equations. So we have down here our brace that we're going to write our piecewise function in. So I'm going to go ahead and record down my function for the first 100 cupcakes because that one does not need any simplification. So C of X equals 2X, 2X when X is between 1 and 100. Now we're going to work with our second part of the function. So I said we're going to simplify. At this point, we have $1.75 times X minus 100 plus 200. We're going to go ahead and distribute this $1.75. So we get 1.75 X minus 175 when you do $1.75 times 100. And then we still have this plus 200 out here. So when we combine negative 175, positive 200, we get 1.75x plus 25. So that's going to be our function for cupcakes 101 through 250. Then we're going to do the same thing. Let me make a little bit of space up here on the screen. We're going to do the same thing. Whoop, forgot the one. For that final equation. So we're going to take 1.25 parentheses x minus 250 plus 462.50. We're going to distribute out the 1.25, which is going to give us 1.25x minus sorry, I had it written down. $312.50. And then we still have that plus 462.50. So that's going to simplify to 1.25x plus $150. And that's going to be for any cupcake greater than or equal to cupcake 251. So in our equations, the plus 25 and the plus 150 just accounts for the difference in price in any cupcake prior to the given domain. So if we were to use this to solve, 15 dozen cupcakes, so that's going to be 15 times 12, or 180 cupcakes. We're going to use the center equation because 180 is between 101 and 250. So we would say 1.75 times 180 plus 25. If we work that out, we find out that that's going to cost us $340. So we could say to purchase 15 dozen cupcakes, the cost is $340. And then for 450 cupcakes, that's going to be that very bottom equation. So we've got 1.25 times 450 plus 150. And that's going to give us a total of $712.50. So you would write a sentence similar to that one right above. The couple orders 450 cupcakes for their wedding. The total cost of their order would be $712.50. Oops.